The grand chamber of the Intergalactic Council stretched wider than 3 football fields, its crystal dome reaching hundreds of meters into the artificial atmosphere of Space Station Alpha. The chamber buzzed with the voices of 500 different species, each representative occupying their designated floating platforms arranged in ascending circles. Ambassador James Stone stood alone on the central platform, his simple black suit a stark contrast to the colorful and elaborate robes of the alien representatives. He maintained a calm expression, though his right hand tightened slightly around the wooden podium, the only item he had brought from Earth, made from an oak tree that grew outside his childhood home. High Speaker Marcus, a tall being with silvery skin that seemed to ripple like mercury, raised his 4-fingered hand. The chamber fell silent. Representative of Earth, his voice boomed through the universal translators. You stand before the oldest and most powerful governing body in the known universe. For 10,000 years, we have maintained peace and order among civilized species. Stone nodded politely, though he noticed how several council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The human ambassador had been present at enough diplomatic meetings to recognize nervous behavior, regardless of species. Your species, Marcus continued, his silver eyes narrowing, has achieved space travel merely 3 centuries ago. Yet in this brief time, you have already colonized 50 star systems, developed weapons that rival our oldest members, and created artificial intelligence that exceeds safety protocols. The High Speaker's skin rippled more intensely, showing his agitation. You are too unpredictable, too dangerous. A low murmur spread through the chamber. Stone could see the delegates from the outer rim nodding in agreement. The Earth intelligence reports had warned him about their likely opposition. They feared Earth's rapid expansion might soon reach their territories. Therefore, Marcus raised his voice again. The Council has reached a decision. Earth and its colonies must submit to direct Council control. Your military will be disbanded. Your AI systems will be deactivated. Your research facilities will operate under Council supervision. He paused, his silver eyes locked onto Stone. You have 48 hours to comply. Refuse, and the Council will have no choice but to ensure compliance through other means. The threat hung in the air like a heavy cloud. Several of the younger race representatives looked away, unable to meet Stone's gaze. They knew what other means entailed. They had seen it happen to other species who had defied the Council. Stone took a deep breath. He thought about the message he had received from Earth Command just hours before this meeting. He thought about his family back on Earth, his daughter who had just joined the Space Force Academy. He thought about humanity's long history of facing impossible odds. High Speaker Marcus, Stone's voice was steady and clear. I appreciate the Council's concern for galactic stability. However, I believe there's been a misunderstanding about human nature. He stepped away from the podium, walking to the edge of his platform to look directly at the assembled aliens. You see us as dangerous because we advanced quickly, because we think differently, because we don't follow the traditional paths of development that other species have taken. Stone allowed himself a small smile. But what you call unpredictable, we call innovative. What you see as dangerous, we recognize as potential. The chamber erupted in confused chatter. No species had ever dared to challenge the Council's judgment so openly. Marcus's silver skin now rippled like a stormy sea. Ambassador Stone, choose your next words carefully. The future of your species depends on them. Stone reached into his pocket and pulled out a small holographic projector. With a click, it displayed Earth's official response above the platform in the standard galactic script. We respectfully decline. The chaos that followed was unprecedented in Council history. Some representatives shouted in outrage, others in disbelief. A few younger race delegates watched with poorly hidden admiration. Through it all, Stone stood calmly, his posture relaxed but dignified. This is your final decision. Marcus asked, his voice carrying a mix of anger and genuine puzzlement. It is, Stone replied. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before. Ice ages, plagues, world wars. Environmental disasters. We survived them all. We didn't just survive. We emerged stronger. He looked around the chamber, meeting as many alien gazes as he could. If you force this conflict, you won't find an easy victory. You'll find humanity at its best, when our backs are against the wall. As Stone was escorted out of the chamber, he could hear the continued uproar behind him. He knew that within hours, the Council would begin mobilizing its forces. But he also knew something they didn't. Earth was ready. They had been ready for years. The real question was the Council ready for humanity? The emergency meeting room aboard Earth's orbital defense station, Guardian 1, hummed with tense energy. Military leaders and government officials from Earth's United Defense Council filled the circular room, their attention fixed on the massive holographic display at the center. The display showed real-time movements of Council warships, appearing as red dots spreading across space like angry hornets leaving their nest. Admiral Reed, a tall man with gray hair and weather-beaten features, stood before the assembled leaders. The Council fleet has already left their main base at Centauri Alpha. By our best estimates, they have deployed over 3,000 warships. He paused, letting the information sink in. That's more ships than they've used in any military action in the past 500 years. General Thompson, the head of Earth's Space Force, leaned forward in her chair. Her weathered face showed no fear, only calculated interest. And how many ships do we have ready? 750 combat-ready vessels, Reed replied. A murmur of concern spread through the room, but he raised his hand. However, numbers alone don't tell the whole story. The holographic display changed, showing a detailed view of Earth's defense systems. Blue dots represented their ships, but around them glowed a complex web of green lines, the quantum defense network that humanity had spent the last 50 years building in secret. For decades, we knew this day might come, Reed continued. While they watched our official military buildup, they missed what we were really doing. Project ShadowNet is ready. Defense Minister Roberts stood up, his dark skin contrasting with his white uniform. For those not familiar with the classified details, Project ShadowNet is more than just a defense system. It's a complete reimagining of space warfare. The hologram zoomed in on one section of the defense web. Traditional shields block energy weapons, Roberts explained. Our system catches them. Each node in the network can absorb enemy fire and redistribute it through quantum channels. The more they shoot, the stronger our defenses become. From her seat near the back, Dr. Wilson, head of Earth's AI development program, spoke up. And don't forget about Guardian. She gestured, and a new image appeared. A complex web of neural pathways. Our AI doesn't just control our automated defense systems. It learns and adapts in real time. The Council's tactical computers are predictable. They follow programming that hasn't changed in centuries. Guardian creates new strategies on the fly. Ambassador Stone, who had returned from the Council meeting just hours ago, listened quietly. Finally, he stood up. All of this is impressive, but there's something else they don't understand about us. He walked to the center of the room, his footsteps echoing. The Council believes unity comes from control. They think without their authority, chaos will reign. He touched the hologram, and it changed to show Earth's colonies spread across 50 star systems. But look at us. Different nations, cultures, beliefs, all working together, not because we're forced to, but because we choose to. That's our real strength. And our allies, General Thompson asked, will they honor their secret agreements? Stone smiled. The Council thinks we're alone. They don't know about our partnerships with the primitive races they ignored. The Nightwalkers of Proxima B are already moving their stealth ships into position. The crystal mines of Europa have linked their quantum computers with Guardian. Even the deep dwellers of Titan are ready. Admiral Reed updated the hologram one final time, showing friendly forces in green. Hundreds of new dots appeared, approaching from unexpected directions. The Council thinks they're dealing with one stubborn species, Instead, they're about to face an alliance of races tired of their control. How long until they reach our outer defense line? Thompson asked. 36 hours, Reed replied. They're moving exactly as Guardian predicted, in standard attack formation, following tactics they've used for millennia. Stone looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes. They expect us to panic, to give in when we see their numbers. Instead, we'll show them something they've never seen before. Humanity fighting at its best, not alone, but as part of something bigger than ourselves. Dr. Wilson's tablet beeped. She looked down and smiled. Guardian just finished its final battle simulations. Even in worst-case scenarios, with their full fleet attacking, we have a 73% chance of success. In most scenarios, we can end this without destroying them, just showing them we can't be conquered. Then let's get ready, Stone said firmly. We've got 36 hours to prepare a welcome they'll never forget. And maybe, just maybe, we'll teach the mighty council that true civilization isn't about control. It's about cooperation. As the leaders dispersed to their stations, the hologram continued to spin slowly, showing humanity's forces and their allies moving into position. The next 2 days would change the galaxy forever, and humanity was ready to lead that change. The Council's massive fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. 3,000 warships, their hulls gleaming with ancient symbols of power, formed a perfect attack pattern. At the center, the flagship Ultimate Authority carried Fleet Commander Robert, one of the Council's most decorated military leaders. Robert stood on his command bridge, his metallic scales reflecting the light of distant stars. "Status report on the human defenses," he ordered, expecting to hear about the primitive barriers he'd studied in intelligence reports. "Sir," his sensor officer paused, confusion clear in his voice. "We're detecting nothing." Nothing. Robert moved to the main view screen. The space ahead looked empty. No ships, no stations, no defensive platforms, just darkness and distant planets. Impossible. Check again. Suddenly, warning alarms blared across the entire fleet. In the seemingly empty space ahead, thousands of points of light winked into existence. The quantum defense web, invisible until activated, lit up like a constellation of newborn stars. "Energy surge," the sensor officer shouted. "It's everywhere." Before Robert could issue orders, the first wave hit them. But it wasn't weapon fire, it was pure chaos. The quantum web created a field of distorted spacetime, making their targeting systems useless. Council ships, trying to maintain their perfect formation, began colliding with each other. "Break formation," Robert commanded. "All ships, emergency maneuvers." On the bridge of Guardian 1, Admiral Reed watched the Council fleet's confusion with grim satisfaction. "Guardian," he spoke to the station's AI. "Begin Phase 2. "Acknowledged, Admiral," Guardian's calm voice replied. "Deploying mirror drones." From hidden bays around the solar system, thousands of small diamond-shaped drones emerged. These were humanity's newest weapons, each one powered by a quantum core and controlled by a fragment of Guardian's consciousness. The Council fleet, still struggling with the disruption field, didn't notice the drones until it was too late. The small machines darted between the massive warships, attaching themselves to hull plates. Each drone activated, turning the ship's own energy shields into prisons of light. "Status report," Robert demanded, watching as ship after ship in his fleet became trapped in cocoons of their own shield energy. 600 ships immobilized, his tactical officer reported, fear evident in his voice. "Our weapons can't penetrate the quantum field. And sir, we're detecting new ships approaching. They're not human vessels." From the darkness of space, ships of unique design appeared. The crystalline vessels of the Europa Alliance glittered like ice. The black, almost invisible ships of the Night Walkers moved like shadows between stars. And from Saturn's largest moon, the massive organic ships of the Deep Dwellers emerged, their living hulls absorbing energy attacks like sponges. On Guardian 1, General Thompson smiled as she watched the tactical display. "Send the message," she ordered. Throughout the Council fleet, every communication system activated simultaneously. Ambassador Stone's voice reached every ship. "This is your only warning. Your weapons are useless. Your ships are trapped. You are facing not just humanity, but an alliance of species who choose cooperation over submission. You can retreat now or learn firsthand why humanity has survived every threat we've ever faced." In his flagship, Robert watched helplessly as more of his ships became entrapped. His perfect fleet, the largest ever assembled by the Council, was being defeated without a single shot fired. The humans and their allies had turned his own technology against him, using strategies no Council race would have ever considered. "Sir," his communication officer called out, "we're receiving signals from multiple ships. They're requesting permission to surrender." Robert stared at the tactical display, watching as the carefully planned invasion crumbled around him. In just 30 minutes, humanity had proven every Council assumption wrong. They weren't primitive. They weren't predictable. And most importantly, they weren't alone. "Send the signal," Robert finally ordered, his metallic scales dulling with defeat. "All ships, retreat." As the Council fleet turned back, those ships that could still move helping to tow those trapped by the mirror drones, Admiral Reed sent a final message to Earth Command. "First wave repelled. 0 casualties on all sides. Operation Lighthouse successful." Stone, watching from Guardian 1, nodded in satisfaction. "Now they understand," he said quietly. "The galaxy's future isn't about domination. It's about innovation, cooperation, and the courage to stand together." He turned to Admiral Reed. "And this is just the beginning." In the vast darkness of space, the quantum defense web continued to shine, a testament to humanity's greatest strengths: creativity, determination, and the ability to unite diverse allies for a common cause. The Council had expected to find an easy target. Instead, they had awakened a force that would change the galaxy forever. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in a facility unknown even to most of Earth's military, Dr. Wilson walked through a massive underground chamber. The room stretched for kilometers, filled with rows of strange machines that pulsed with blue light. This was Project Phoenix, humanity's most closely guarded secret. "Status report," she called out to her team of scientists scattered throughout the facility. The chamber's perfect acoustics carried her voice clearly across the vast space. "Mirror Shield Mark 7 is ready," reported lead engineer Thomas, his hands moving across holographic controls. "We've solved the energy feedback loop. It doesn't just reflect energy weapons anymore. It captures and stores their power." On massive screens along the walls, data streamed constantly. The facility's quantum computers processed information from the recent battle, analyzing every move the Council ships had made. But more importantly, they were watching the Council's response to their defeat. "Doctor," called out one of the monitoring technicians, "we're picking up massive energy signatures from Council space. They're activating something big, really big." Dr. Wilson hurried to the main control center, her footsteps echoing through the chamber. The screen showed a massive structure awakening near the Council's home system. It was their legendary superweapon, the Planet Breaker, unused for 5,000 years. She immediately opened a communication channel to Guardian 1. Admiral Reed's hologram appeared before her. "They're bringing out their doomsday weapon," she reported calmly. "Just as we predicted." Reed nodded grimly. "How long until Project Phoenix is ready?" "It's ready now." Dr. Wilson smiled. "In fact, we've been ready for months. We just needed them to show us their worst weapon first." She turned to her team. "Initialize the Phoenix protocol." Throughout the Mars facility, the rows of machines hummed louder. The blue light grew stronger, and the air itself seemed to vibrate with contained power. In orbit above Mars, hidden satellites began to activate, forming a network that spread across the solar system. "What they don't understand," Dr. Wilson explained to her team, is that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. It's our ability to learn from history. She brought up images of ancient Earth battles on the screens. Every great empire in human history eventually fell when they relied too heavily on a single supreme weapon. The Council's planet breaker was now fully active, its energy readings off the charts. But in the Mars facility, Dr. Wilson and her team remained calm. They had spent years preparing for this moment. The Council thinks their planet breaker is unstoppable because it can destroy worlds. Engineer Thomas said, checking the final calculations. But we didn't build a bigger weapon. We built something smarter. On screens throughout the facility, a new image appeared, a detailed scan of the planet breaker. Guardian's AI had already analyzed its structure, finding patterns and weaknesses that its builders had never considered. The Phoenix network is at full power, reported the system controller. Ready on your command. Dr. Wilson opened a channel to all Earth forces and their allies. This is Phoenix Control. When they fire their planet breaker, do not attempt to block or evade. Let the shot come. Trust in what we've built. In space, the planet breaker's massive weapon ports began to glow. The Council believed they were about to demonstrate their ultimate power. Instead, they were about to witness humanity's greatest scientific achievement. They named it well, Dr. Wilson said softly. Phoenix, the bird that rises from its own ashes. Every attempt to destroy us will only make us stronger. The planet breaker fired, its beam of pure energy racing toward the solar system. But as it reached the Phoenix network's range, something unexpected happened. The energy beam began to split apart, its power drawn into thousands of collection points throughout the network. Energy conversion at 100%, Thomas announced proudly. The network is absorbing everything they're throwing at us. Power levels are rising exactly as planned. Dr. Wilson watched the power readings climb. The Council's ultimate weapon wasn't destroying Earth's defenses. It was charging them. Years of studying quantum energy manipulation had led to this moment. Send the response message, she ordered. Throughout Council space, on every communication channel, Earth's message played. Thank you for the energy donation. Would you like to see what we can do with it? In the Mars facility, Dr. Wilson looked at her team's proud faces. Humanity didn't just prepare for war, she said. We prepared to change the very nature of warfare. Let's show them what Phoenix can really do. The facility's lights pulsed brighter as the absorbed energy was processed, ready to power humanity's next move. The Council was about to learn that their greatest weapon had just become Earth's greatest resource. The Council's emergency session was nothing like their usual orderly meetings. The Grand Chamber echoed with angry shouts and accusations as hundreds of species argued about the failed attack on Earth and the shocking neutralization of the planet breaker. High Speaker Marcus had lost his usual calm demeanor. His silver skin rippled violently as he tried to maintain order. Silence. His voice boomed across the chamber. We must maintain unity in this crisis. But unity was already breaking. On the lower levels, representatives of younger races were gathering together, speaking in hushed but excited tones. They had seen something in humanity's defense that sparked their imagination. Not just technological power, but a different way of thinking. Ambassador Stone stood calmly on his platform, which was now joined by representatives from Earth's allies. The Nightwalker delegate, a tall figure wrapped in light-absorbing cloth, stepped forward. For centuries, you called my people primitive because we chose to develop stealth technology instead of energy weapons. The Crystal Mind representative's crystalline form sparkled as they added, you ignored our achievements in quantum computing because they didn't follow your traditional paths of development. Stone watched as more representatives moved to join their platform. Species that the Council had dismissed or overlooked were finding their voice. The balance of power was shifting before their eyes. This is unprecedented, shouted one of the Council's elder race representatives. These lesser species have no right to question our authority. Lesser, a new voice rang out. Everyone turned to see Representative Wright, one of the Council's own junior members, standing up. "I studied Earth's history. Do you know what makes them different? They'd value innovation over tradition. They learn from everyone, not just those in power." Marcus's silver eyes narrowed. "You dare support these rebels?" "I dared to think differently," Wright replied. His own people, a species that had always followed Council rules without question, were watching intently. "Earth has shown us that true strength comes from cooperation, not control." Stone stepped forward. The chamber's attention turned to him. "We didn't come here to destroy the Council," he said clearly. "We came to change it. Look at what we achieved with our allies. Complete victory without a single casualty. We turned your greatest weapon into a power source." He gestured to the holographic displays showing the Phoenix network. "This technology, we're willing to share it, not as masters or subjects, but as equals. Every species has something unique to offer. Imagine what we could achieve if we all worked together." The chamber erupted in excited discussion. More representatives were moving away from their traditional positions, gathering in new groups. Old alliances were dissolving, and new ones were forming. "This is chaos," Marcus declared. "Without proper hierarchy, without clear authority, there can be no order." "Look around," Stone replied gently. "What you see isn't chaos. It's evolution. Every species here has potential you never recognized. The Nightwalker's stealth technology, the Crystal Mine's quantum computing, the Deep Dweller's organic engineering. Combined with Earth's innovations, we could advance faster than ever before." Representative Wright moved to join Stone's platform. "I propose a vote," he announced. "Not for war or surrender, but for transformation. Let us rebuild the Council as a true alliance of equals." The voting system activated automatically. Across the chamber, lights began to flicker as representatives made their choices. Old Guard members watched in disbelief as centuries of tradition crumbled before their eyes. Marcus stared at the results displaying above the chamber. Over 60% of the Council had voted for change. His silver skin dulled to a flat gray as he realized the old order was ending. Stone looked at the gathered representatives. Former enemies now becoming potential allies. "The first step is always the hardest," he said. "But together, we can build something greater than any single species could achieve alone." As the session ended, representatives clustered in excited groups, already discussing possibilities for cooperation and exchange of knowledge. The Nightwalkers were deep in conversation, with Crystal Mind engineers about combining their technologies. Deep Dweller scientists were sharing notes with Earth's quantum physicists. Ambassador Stone smiled as he watched the historic moment unfold. Humanity hadn't just avoided destruction. They had sparked a peaceful revolution that would reshape the galaxy. And this was only the beginning. Commander Taylor stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Innovation, watching as the combined fleet of Earth and its new allies prepared for their most daring operation yet. The old Council leadership had retreated to their fortress world, refusing to accept the changes spreading through the galaxy. Now it was time to end the conflict once and for all. "All ships report ready," announced his tactical officer. The holographic display showed their fleet. Earth's advanced warships, Nightwalker stealth vessels, Crystal Mind quantum ships, and Deep Dweller organic cruisers. They had spent the last week training together, learning to combine their unique abilities. "Guardian," Taylor called out to the AI that now linked their entire fleet. "Begin Operation Unity." The AI's calm voice responded across all ships. Operation Unity commencing. Phase 1. Stealth approach. The Nightwalker's technology spread across the fleet, wrapping each ship in fields that bent light and energy around them. The massive fleet vanished from normal sight, becoming invisible to the Council's ancient detection systems. "This would have been impossible a month ago," Taylor said to his bridge crew. "Different species, different technologies, all working together perfectly. This is what humanity does best. We adapt, we combine, we improve." The fortress world appeared ahead, its defenses bristling with weapon platforms and energy shields. The council leaders thought it was impenetrable. They were about to learn otherwise. Phase 2, Guardian announced. Crystal Mind quantum interference initiated. The Crystal Mind ships activated their quantum computers, creating a web of calculated chaos in the fortress's defense grid. Warning systems showed thousands of phantom targets, overwhelming their targeting computers. "They're scrambling to respond," reported the sensor officer. "Their defense grid is trying to lock onto the phantom signals. They have no idea we're already inside their outer perimeter." Taylor nodded. Phase 3, Deep Dweller Absorption Field. The organic ships moved forward, their living hulls designed to absorb energy. As the fortress's automated defenses fired blindly at phantom targets, the Deep Dweller ships soaked up the wasted energy, growing stronger with each shot. "Now for humanity's contribution," Taylor said with a smile. "Guardian, activate the Phoenix Protocol." The energy absorbed by the Deep Dweller ships flowed through quantum channels, feeding into the Phoenix network they had built around the fortress. Just like with the Planet Breaker, their enemy's power was becoming their strength. "Sir," called out the tactical officer, "we're detecting movement. Council ships are launching." "Right on schedule," Taylor replied calmly. "Begin Phase 4. Show them what true unity looks like." The Earth fleet decloaked first, appearing directly above the fortress. Before the Council ships could react, the Night Walker vessels materialized behind them. The Crystal Mind ships appeared on their flanks, their quantum fields ready. The Deep Dweller vessels rose from below, their hulls glowing with absorbed energy. "This is Commander Taylor of the United Earth Fleet." His message broadcast to all Council forces. "Your leaders refuse to adapt. They chose isolation over cooperation. Look around you. This is the future they fear. Different species working together, combining our strengths, covering each other's weaknesses." The Council ships held their positions, their commanders clearly uncertain. They had trained to fight enemies, not this kind of unified force. "You have a choice," Taylor continued. "Continue fighting for leaders who fear change, or join us in building something new. We don't want to destroy you. We want to learn from you and share what we know." Moments passed in tense silence. Then one Council ship powered down its weapons. Then another, and another. "Sir," the communication officer reported, excitement in his voice, "we're receiving surrender signals from 80% of the Council fleet. They're asking to join us." Taylor smiled. This was humanity's true victory. Not defeating enemies, but making allies. "Guardian, send the signal to all ships. Begin docking procedures. Let's welcome our new friends." The fortress's defenses powered down as its commanders realized the old era was truly over. The combined fleet moved into position, their different designs creating a striking image against the star-filled background, a visual representation of unity and diversity. "Send word to Earth," Taylor ordered. "Operation Unity successful. The fortress has surrendered. Minimal damage, no casualties." He looked at his crew proudly. "This is how humanity fights, not to destroy, but to unite. Not to conquer, but to cooperate." As ships from former enemies began docking with each other, crews eager to share knowledge and technology, Taylor watched the scene with satisfaction. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had led the way not through force, but through innovation and cooperation. 1 year after Operation Unity, the transformed Council chamber looked very different from its original design. Gone were the hierarchical platforms that had once separated species by rank. Now all representatives sat in a circular arrangement, symbolizing equality and unity. Ambassador Stone stood at the center, preparing to address the first anniversary gathering of the United Galactic Alliance. Behind him, Earth's achievements were visible through the chamber's crystal dome. The Phoenix network now powered cities across 100 worlds, while combined Nightwalker and Crystal Mind technology had revolutionized space travel. 1 year ago, Stone began, his voice carrying to all present, "We stood here as enemies. The old Council threatened Earth with destruction. Today, we gather as partners in the greatest period of progress our galaxy has ever seen. The chamber was filled with representatives from over 1,000 species. Old council members sat alongside those they once called primitive. The Nightwalker's security teams worked seamlessly with Deep Dweller engineers, maintaining the station's new organic mechanical hybrid systems. In just 1 year, Stone continued, displaying holographic statistics. We've achieved what the old council thought impossible. Disease outbreaks that once devastated worlds are now cured within days, thanks to Deep Dweller organic engineering combined with Earth's medical science. Trade routes once plagued by pirates are now safe, protected by Nightwalker stealth technology and human tactical systems. Representative Wright, now leading the reformed council faction, stood to speak. The old council feared change. We thought stability meant controlling progress, limiting innovation. Earth showed us a better way. True stability comes from adaptation and cooperation. Dr. Wilson, representing Earth's scientific community, activated a new holographic display. It showed the first ships of the Alliance's exploration fleet, vessels that combine technology from all member species. These ships carry the best of all our peoples, she explained. Human innovation, Nightwalker stealth, crystal mind quantum systems, Deep Dweller organic components, and Council energy technology. Together, we'll explore further than any single species could alone. The crystal mind representatives' crystalline form sparkled as they added, our quantum networks now link 1,000 worlds. Knowledge flows freely. Every discovery is shared. Every advancement benefits all. High Speaker Marcus, who had chosen to remain and support the new alliance, rose from his seat. His silver skin now rippled with pride rather than anger. I was wrong about humanity, he admitted openly. We saw their unpredictability as a threat. Instead, it was the key to unlocking our true potential. Commander Taylor, now Admiral of the United Fleet, stepped forward to present the defense report. Our combined forces don't just protect, they preserve peace through understanding. Every ship carries crews from multiple species. Every strategic decision considers all perspectives. We haven't had a single armed conflict in the past year. Stone smiled as he watched the various representatives interacting. Young council members discussed philosophy with Deep Dwellers. Nightwalker engineers exchanged ideas with crystal mind scientists. Human children on educational visits played with aliens their old history books would have called enemies. But our greatest achievement, Stone concluded, isn't in our technology or our defenses. It's in what we've become. Look around this chamber. Every species here has something unique to offer. Every voice matters. Every perspective adds to our strength. He gestured to the stars visible through the dome. We've proven that diversity isn't a weakness to be controlled, but a strength to be celebrated. That progress doesn't come from domination, but from cooperation. That the greatest power in the universe isn't weapons or technology. It's our ability to work together. The chamber erupted in applause. Species that couldn't physically clap found their own ways to show approval, light displays, harmonic sounds, energy pulses. It was a symphony of unity and diversity. As the ceremony concluded, Stone walked among the representatives, remembering the tension that had filled this same chamber a year ago. Now it was a place of hope and possibility. Ambassador, a young alien child asked him, "What's next for the Alliance?" Stone knelt down to the child's level. "That's the most exciting part," he replied with a warm smile. "We don't know. Every day brings new discoveries, new possibilities, new ways to combine our strengths. The future isn't written by any one species anymore. We're writing it together." Above them, through the crystal dome, new stars beckoned. The United Galactic Alliance's ships prepared for their first major exploration mission. Humanity had not just survived the Council's threat, they had transformed it into an opportunity for all species to grow together. The galaxy had changed forever, and it was only the beginning.